Today I'm trying my, I would say biggest fear in art mediums, which is gouache. I'm not a painter in any way except for watercolor, so this is terrifying. And yet, I have used this at least once or twice ever since I got it, which was 2 Christmas ago, which was like around 2024, 2023, question mark. And now, I'm trying it once again. I had to clean my freaking palette. Not this. Under it. Cause it molded.
Ew! What an interesting artifact!
What's up? It's me, Chris, back at it again. Disclosure, I'm gonna say this once. This video has been in the back burners for 2 months. Basically, I recorded this video around early March or late February. That's all I remember because I posted. If you follow my Instagram or TikTok, you will see that I have posted this on there a long time ago, which, however, is one of my favorite pieces. Anyways, I'm currently drawing Enrico Pucci from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is my GOAT. That's my GOAT right there. But I started off with a cool tone blue as my undertone. However, it didn't plan well at all because first I typically use warmer colors as a color palette to get like a feel for it. I started with blue. I didn't want it cool tone. I wanted a cool tone, not ashy, because by the end of it, spoiler alert, I put black acrylic paint over the whole thing, like for the background. It made Pussy look ashy. I had to tone it with like color pencils that is not seen in this video. I had to like go back and like filter that out. Like, girl, we're not making that king priest ashy. As you can see, like, I'm putting down my base colors for everything. I already put the base down colors for his like gown. Now I'm doing his wings, and then now I'm going back to shade. I did this really dark purple as like a base before I blended it. I don't regret it, but I regret the yellow I used later. You can see why, because also one thing about me is I hate the color combo purple and yellow. I don't know, something about it makes it look so disgusting to me. Like a bright yellow and an ashy purple. No. Nope. It was kind of look disgusting. However, I kind of like it in this piece because I made the yellow muddy on purpose and intentionally, but I don't know. It was something about it. Like, I couldn't maneuver it at all. But anywho, you see me shading the hands. Now back at the face, because I think about myself, faces in like the facial like area, like the hair or like anything around the face, I really want it to look nice because that's like the focal point of where people are looking. But I did like under the lip, I was doing like a tilting down pose, if I remember correctly, because I saw this reference of these hands holding like a cross with pearls, and I was like, oh, that could be good for a Pussy piece. And I'm like, oh, I can make it like how he, like, spoilers for JoJo's, like how he wants to go to heaven and all that. So basically, I made him like an angel and used a halo inspiration of like sharp edges to show the sharp turn of events on what happened in the show and how spoiler alert, he technically didn't go to heaven. He made a whole new universe, and with his sense of using Christianity as like a source of it, I gave him the reference with the cross in it. However, I made it so it like matches up with the color schemes. I made the pearls black, and then I made the cross silver and gold because the halo I was gonna make it was gold. I think I'm gonna put my reference pieces up on screen right here because I used someone else's art as an inspiration. I'm gonna tag them and show the art I was like envisioning, and then show the wings, the hands I was using, and yada yada yada. So yep, I like right now you see me trying to figure out the pearls because I did sketch them out, but I kind of lost the sketch for them because girl, I layered so much on there. But yeah, doing like the circles, and then I think right after this I'm doing the cross. And I'm gonna say this, when I was doing the cross, oh my god, it was so kind of fun to shade it, but I feel like I should have made it more like metally. That was like the intentional thing of me doing it for, but that didn't really happen. But I'm shading it and yada yada yada. I kind of cheated because even though this is a gouache video and trying to face my fears, I might have used acrylic markers. Oh, boo me all you want. It's my video. But because I couldn't get the, like, with this sketchbook, I finished the sketchbook, by the way. It cannot take watercolors that well or any water medium. It will wash it down completely. And so how many times I try to get a darker version of the color that I want, it get diluted or paler, and I basically don't want that. So I instead opt another option and use acrylic markers, color pencils, and yada yada, my usual stuff. So at the end of the video, you're seeing me use color pencils, like acrylic markers, for me to have more depth into this page because it looks so dull right now. But trust the process. Like, it's okay to break rules. Like, mixed media is my favorite thing of all time. Y'all don't understand. But you see how much I was shading that cross. I don't know, it was so fun. And then I worked on his belt, and I don't know why it took so long just to do the belt. It was kind of like sick and tiring. Okay, we're to the fun part. Acrylic paint. Yay! Don't look at my palette, okay? It's kind of messy. It's like the primary colors or whatever. But yeah, I painted the whole thing black because also behind it, you should check out my other video. I've decorated that page of weather report behind it, and I needed to cover it up, and I was scared with gouache since it is water based. I was kind of terrified if it would bleed through the page because if I put too much water into the paint. So basically I just used acrylic paint because the other page that I the weather report page, it was made with alcohol markers, like color pencils, watercolor, pens, like pens that are able to get smudged with water. So I did another option of acrylic paint that I never really use because I don't like acrylic painting. However, it's a lifesaver sometimes, which is why I have it. Like, you'll see me like switch between my two brushes. You'll see me switch between my fine tip one and my squared one, because my squared one is used most likely for bigger like area, and if I need to be more gentle or more intentional with the lines I'm making or outlining something, I'll go back and use the tiny one, because I don't want to mess up. I'm not YOLOing this. Maybe I did here because that was kind of risky. But I would use the tiny brush and fill in those gaps and like just try and even it out basically. But once I got to the top of the halo or whatever, I did use like the edge of the brush, but it didn't go so well. So basically what I did, I watered down the paint to give like an outline at least for what I'm gonna color in, and I used the tiny little brush, which took forever. I think it took like 30 minutes just to paint that whole section because I was using a tiny brush and it doesn't hold like that much paint. So you see me like outlining it and trying to stable my hand because I had to color the whole thing on the top. The freaking tiny brush. Like just thinking about that, low-key kind of like cramped my hand, because I think I remember me cramping my hand or having to take breaks because of this stupid little brush and how I hold a pencil normally. It's kind of weird. So I was just like thugging it out. Like I'm over here rushing, trying to fill in the paint because low-key, don't do this at home, but I may or may not like paint with acrylics or like any medium with my door closed. So all I'm like breathing in is like fumes of like acrylic markers and paint and Sharpie and alcohol markers. Bro, I probably like took 20 like years off my lifespan at this point. But we're almost done. Yay! But yeah, you see me like not trying to hit the halo because we're gonna use something later, which I will show in like, I don't know, like a minute or so. Okay, I just kind of want to yap about my other hobbies that I've been picking up this year. I started reading again, like just not manga in general, but I have been reading again. I finished 4 books this year. It's only May. That's kind of sad, but I finished 4 books, like just words, and then I finished 4 manga volumes of Blue Flag because I was rereading Blue Flag because that's my GOAT. That's like my favorite manga of all time. It's so cute and I think I recommend it. But I started to read this one book. I think it's called Butter. It's from Ariako Yuzaki, I think. It's basically about like murder and like food and like the misogynistic like realm of Japan. It's kind of interesting from what I read like about it on like TikTok. So I picked it up and yeah, that's what I've been starting to read. But do you see how I'm shading these wings? Because they kind of eat. Because I kind of like shading wings. But, ooh. This is what I was talking about. I got another gouache set from Christmas, too. Basically, it's like, I think a 60 color. And it has these like fluorescent and glittery ones. And it has this gold one. And I was like, ooh, this was like the reason why I wanted to make this piece. I wanted to do something with gold. And the idea of like Pussy doing something with it, I don't know, I thought it was like really entertaining for myself. So I started to use that. And I'm gonna use it for another piece maybe later this year. Because I was doing my schedule for high school, and basically I was trying to figure out my classes for my junior year and my sophomore year, and I'm potentially taking AP art, and I'm gonna try it, I guess. I don't know, I'm kind of scared, but yeah. I'm outlining with my Sakura Jelly Roll, my goat. I think this is the 08 one, or the 8 or the 5, I don't know. I decided to like outline the whole piece with it because I thought it was too, like, I felt like the whole drawing felt too into the background, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not there. As my paint is like really dull too, whoops, it just kind of looked bland. Like, I couldn't understand it, but yeah, look, like I said in the beginning, yeah, I used acrylic markers. I used my grabby ones that I gotten for my birthday. Everything that I have is from birthdays or freaking Christmas, because I don't pay for my own art supplies. Oops. But I used this off-white color. I think it's like it's like shaded with green or blue. I don't know. But I was using a lot of my grabby ones, some of my shuttle ones, and then I was using colored pencils, I think later after this part. But here we are, going back to the cross. It was kind of fun doing that, but I decided to add a little bit of ASMR in here because I think the sound that like my ballpoint pens are making with the gouache is kind of nice. I don't know. I just added it in because I thought it seemed nice. But yeah. If we're about to end the video, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the process. I think I'll use gouache more often. I hope. If you made it through the whole video, I love you, like platonically. But yeah, but I think if you're new here, I think you should subscribe. It will support me in the long run, and I'll be making more videos. And basically, you should, if you have social media, I think y'all should follow me on my social media. It's Ichimaru _ on every platform. Second I is a 1, and it will be linked in the description below. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I sure did. It was really fun. Well, partial of it was really fun to paint. It was kind of stressful from what I remember, but yeah. Stay tuned for another video. I'm probably gonna make a decorate with me soon, and yeah, bye.